I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come
Welcome
easy.
all, this
Had
is
to
the
work
Australian
hard, struggle
Indie
just to
Wrestling
be me.
cast, fellow wrestlers, trainees, event support staff, friends, foes, and everyone in between. If you have a comment, you can comment on our Facebook page, which a lot of you did this week, but if you have a topic, reach out to the Don. If you have a topic about Australian Indie Wrestling, reach out to the Don. The Don, it was a majorly successful weekend for you. Tell us about it.
Huge weekend in Western Australian wrestling. We had, like we were saying last week, there was 3 shows on the same night at the same time. They were maybe 45 minutes apart from each other, but they were all very well done, very well prepared, and everyone had a great time. Me personally, I have now achieved another milestone in my wrestling career. I'm champion again at STW. I am now the Southern Cross champion. Got a shiny new belt to prove it.
Nice.
Just here.
Dude, does that have dragons on it?
Right there, dragons. It was foretold. It was always going to happen.
A bit of foreshadowing.
Dragons for the Don. I'm Australian. I live under the Southern Cross. You know, it's all.
Don't you have one of those gnarly Southern Cross tattoos?
Long story, I'll tell you later.
I do actually, right here.
Are you legit?
On my tiger.
I was giving you shit.
Yeah, no, I do. I have a Southern Cross tattoo. It's on. I got nice little tiger flexing with the tattoo of the Southern Cross. So it was all meant to happen. It's destiny, if you will. But no, I had a great time. Was lucky enough to be in the main event against Gorgeous Gary.
With your win comes his loss and out of the arena.
That's it. Well, I mean, he put in a very valiant effort, and now he's finished up at Southern Territory Wrestling, and the Don era is about to begin for the Southern Cross Championship. It's a great night. A little bit stiff and sore from the whole ordeal. We used a few kendo sticks. I was thrown into a wall, and now my finger's a bit busted. Tables. I had supplements thrown in my face. Gorgeous Gary managed to bleed absolutely everywhere, showing that fighting spirit. He can't be held down for too long. But
I saw the picture. It looked like he gave himself an extra smile across his forehead. If you've ever seen that Smile movies, it looked like he was grinning from ear to ear across his forehead.
Basically, yeah. No, it was it was quite intense. And match was finished with a choke bomb onto some tacks. Brand new Southern Cross champion in the Don.
But Don, the show you work on the most, ESPW, the show, let's say you book?
Yes.
Yes. The show you...
Well, yeah. It's not just me, but yes, I'm
like one of the bookers, and you weren't there.
Yeah.
So how did that go, and what did you hear about that show?
So all reports came back fairly positive. Everyone seemed to have a good time. Unfortunately, as you know, it's a live show. Sometimes things go wrong. In the match before the main event, part of the ring decided to break, and they had a bit of a time trying to fix that up while setting up for Winter Warfare. So there was a little bit of an extended, what would you call it, intermission before the main event. But they managed to get everything back. Sorry?
You could call it that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it was a planned intermission for the setup of the match. However, there was just a little bit more time spent, obviously, because they had to fix the ring. But they got through it and then went into the main event, and everyone had a great time in Malaga.
Now, Don, I must say, your champion, Del Cano, or shall we say former champion Del Cano, with your ESPW Pride belt, was defending it in the top end and made quite the statement, which I put on as a spoiler on the last episode. I put his, because it was quite a fiery promo. And he's gone up to Darwin and lost to Jimmy G, who is now the new EPW Pride champion, but wrestles for Top End Wrestling. Don, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to send a few of your Ultra Boys up, like Manu and Dex, to try and get that belt back? Or are you just going to say, hey, man, would you like a job in Perth?
I mean, those are options, right? However, it's something I don't have to worry about because luckily enough, that all happened during the opening match at Top End Wrestling. And then at the end of the night, it was a triple threat. Del Cano managed to snatch it back from the grip of Jimmy G. He's still, and now the third time Pride champion for ESPW.
Oh, well, that's got to look great on his resume.
Well, I'm sure he's very happy about that himself. However, at least I don't have to get into any legal proceedings. I don't have to go up there and go and collect the championship again or get him to come back down here and defend it. So, dangerous times. Del Cano decided to, instead of performing in the place where he won the championship and being able to defend it here, he thought he was so good he could travel to another part of the country and it was going to be easy pickings. Jimmy G has said, no, you're not good, not having it, and then has snatched it away from him. But Del Cano, the wily veteran, has managed to take it back and has brought it home back to where it belongs.
Wily, you talk about him like he's the coyote from the Roadrunner movies. I'm going to start calling him Living Dangerously Del Cano, because he's lucky to get out of Darwin with that belt by the skin of his teeth, by the sounds of things, the way you describe it. But maybe, just maybe, you'll catch a lot of these guys at the upcoming training camp that Damien Slater and Davis Storm are running on the WWE TakeOver weekend, October 7th to 9th. Now, hopefully a lot of people are getting on that. I'm going to go back to you.
True. Before we go all the way to October, they have a training camp, the winter camp, from the 15th to the 19th, I believe, in Perth, before we get that far ahead. So you might see some of them in the coming weeks as we have a 2-night show, Interstate Invasion, coming up, which will incorporate all the guys who have come across to the west to train. They will be performing as well. And then because of the success of that and the previous successes, they have announced, like you said, a new date. Did you say it was October?
Yeah, October 7th and 9th. Now, a few weeks ago, Slater kind of hinted on his social media channels, friend of the show, Damien Slater, hinted that him and David Storm will be running a training camp, or are thinking about running a training camp. Now that has come to fruition. The training camp you're talking about, Don, I'd probably say all those positions are filled, but you might still be getting lucky. Completely full and
completely filled up, completely sold out. So which is what I think has spurned the idea of, well, if people are coming over for Crown Jewel, Raw and SmackDown, if they want to get in a bit of training while they're here, they've provided that opportunity.
And people at all stages of their career, even trainers from interstate, should be looking at it and sort of getting a few hints and tips off David Storm and mainly Damien Slater with his World Beater Wrestling program. And if you're not on that, you should be. So that training camp happens the weekend of the WWE TakeOver. And Don, friend of the show, Matthew, has reached out to you and told you he already has his WWE Perth tickets.
Yeah, the man has been scoping out the landscape and trying to find out a way to get in ahead of the curve, much like we did for Elimination Chamber.
And he's found it. He's done it.
Yeah, he's found it. And yeah, like I looked into it myself after finding out, and for anyone traveling interstate, it's quite the deal. Like, to be able to get locked-in tickets, locked-in accommodation, with some other events as well. I've noticed as well there was 5 nights of fun.
I even saw trips to Rottnest included in some of the things you can do. The obvious meet and greets. Now this is the sports holiday network package or something. I'll flash it up so you guys can get the right thing. But we've already shared it on the page and put at followers, and a lot of you have got around it. So that's good to see that you won't be missing out. Because you're joining me and the Don, and we're trying to get you all the info as quickly as possible. We're trying to fix you up.
And it looks like the whole setup as well. You get the 5-night package, which it does vary in price. If you want to go to a bit fancier hotel, you've got options, or you can go. There's still all nice hotels, but you can go the slightly cheaper option.
There's about 6 hotels or 7 hotels to choose from, and the prices are ranging between about 2,800 to about 2.5, and you can split those 2 payments. So you know,
but also there's different levels. Like you can pay, I think it was up to like 20,000.
Oh,
like
those were the elite packages that we first advertised, and those are for the first few front rows. These sports packages, Matt was kind enough to let us know the block he was in, which is 208, and it's pretty sweet seats. It's looking directly at the entranceway, and it's on the first race section, the section you and I talked about trying to get. Well, looks like looks like we've missed out, and I'll be watching it on Netflix. Don, you'll be going, but you'll be sitting up the back somewhere, I guess.
I mean, look, they haven't even released like regular tickets yet, so I don't know where we're going to end up. You know, I imagine for what I want, you're probably looking anywhere between $500 a seat for each night, between 500 to 800. But I mean, I don't know. That's just speculation at this point.
It's all pure speculation. Heaps of people have been messaging the channel. How do you have this information when WWE hasn't even released packages yet? Well, you see, these are the elite packages. Some of our friends are keener on the WWE than they are breathing air. Let's just say that. And,
that's it. Keener than eating dinner. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
They don't even want to eat dinner. They're just happy to whack $22,000 is what it's going to cost you to sit front row for the for the 3 events.
That's right.
Plus the ticket to the EPW Super Show we'll add on.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's some of the comments we're getting as well, like Daniel Johnson was saying most of us aren't at the market. Sorry. Most of you and me aren't the market for the high roller seats, and I would say that's true.
Well, bro, I've definitely been priced out of the front row. I remember going back to front row, 3rd row back Burswood, 2nd row back Burswood. Even my brother Logan Grey jumped in the ring, danced with Scotty 2 Hotty and Rikishi. Yeah. Were you there for that? Yep.
I was there for that.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this idiot kid doing? He just kept trying to do flips, and it's like, what do you...
And then he went and sat in the ring, and I was like, dude, don't sit in the ring. Don't sit in the corner of the ring when Rikishi's in the ring. You need to get your you get a stink face, mate. But that was then. This is now. We are priced right out of the... we are priced right out of the ticket range. I'm not even considering going anymore. I'm looking at AEW 2026, and I'm looking at Coffs Harbour just on the quiet. So yeah, I mean, those are the ticket prices. The Don.
I mean, well, it's like I say, with a lot of people getting in on the comments, that's Keanu Nolan, better to just go to the EPW show. And look, if you're looking to save some money, you can have a great night at This Is Our House. Arj Geese says, actually, those prices seem normal for packages for major touring VIP events.
Yeah, now this is
AFL game, the cricket, live music.
That's actually what a friend pointed out to me. Like, if you were to go to an NFL game or an NBA game in America and sort of get those front row seats, that's what you're paying. And so I think TKO have misjudged the market somewhat and raised it to like celebrity prices for WWE. And I think that's what you're seeing at the moment, and you're getting a lot of backlash from a lot of the fans who used to go all the time and stuff like that. But the Don, continue with these comments because some of them are pretty amazing.
Darren Halsey, another reason I'm done with WWE. No one's ever done with WWE. Let's just be real. Vince isn't
even done with WWE. He still has shares.
And I think that was
that's about the skin. That's about the skinny of it. People are just like, "What the fuck, man? What the fuck?" So, I do remember the Super Showdown, the Global Warning, or the 2002 tour, right?
Yeah.
When I went to that, like I was young, broke. Well, now I'm broke as well, but young, broke, more broke, if you could believe.
Yeah.
Got a seat in the gods, and all you could see at that Super Showdown 2002 was a sea of yellow and red. All the people that could afford the tickets were the old people, the old Hogan fans who could actually pay that ludicrous price. So I'm wondering if all the young people are going to be in the gods at this event, and you're just going to see, like, you know, the Lord Mayor and shit like that sitting at the front, which is not a good look for TV. Not a good look at all. You want your rabid fans at the front. You want your rabid fans on the screen. You want your rabid fans on hard cam. I watched an AEW Collision, and they were not showing even the first row on Collision because there was like 3-4 people sitting in the first row on opposite hard cam side. So like you want your rabid fans. So like WWE, you're gonna find out, and you're gonna price everyone out, except the Saudi Arabians, who you're probably not going to be able to go there anyway, since it's a no-fly zone at the moment. I can't even get packages over there at the moment.
Yeah, see, that would be, I hadn't thought about that as far as...
WWE Night of Champions.
Might not be happening.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's...
They'll just go to the Performance Center or Vegas. Someone will step in. It'll be on home soil. They won't.
Was it New Orleans that they screwed out of WrestleMania?
Yeah, now they're doubling down on Vegas or something like that.
Yeah,
so
they might be able to swing back to New Orleans. You know, you never know.
Yeah, so that's enough of TKO and WWE and the outrageous ticket prices they're all bending us over a barrel for. Well, let's get let's go a little bit international. I picked up a thing the other week, and the reason we haven't seen Buddy Mathews on our TV screens, we rolled his ankle at the event you were at, the AEW Grand Slam, during a match with Okada, and it's still not righted itself to the point where after 3 months it becomes a chronic problem, and it's at that stage now. So there's not a lot of mobility on Buddy's ankle, and that's why you're not seeing a great deal of him on TV. So I guess I was lucky to see him wrestle at MCW that time.
Yeah. Good to see him in full motion, full action.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's something that it can be sorted out. It's just when something continues to drag and it cause issues for your performance, it can be disheartening. But like I say, we still see him live and on
we're still seeing him on a bit of social media. We're seeing him in the background of a lot of Rhea Ripley's social media, holding groceries. We're seeing him in the Pereira's social media in the background. So Buddy, I believe Buddy has a Twitch channel or something like that. That he plays games on, because I've been fortunate enough to play Buddy in a Friday the 13th game and kill everyone. Yeah. So that was a good time.
Murdered and massacred.
Which would never happen in real life. But Don,
so I hear before we got on here, I've heard you have a conundrum.
I do. This is what I was going to get into. Where I was going this Saturday, Melbourne. I thought, PCW, Professional Championship Wrestling. Let me put this on both of us. Professional Championship Wrestling had a good card. Hair versus hair match. Always the sadistic side of me loves to see someone get their head shaved in the middle of the squared circle. There is nothing more fun than watching someone just go from full locks to dome chrome.
Well, the best thing about it is they don't go full chrome dome straight away. There's normally like patches.
Yeah, it's all patchy. Yeah, look like they've been like blowing up in a meth lab or something, you know. So the PCW, and during the week we found out that, Tricky's still part owner of PCW, who Tricky has always been an owner down there at PCW. And of course now Tommy Hellfire is a part owner down there now, which explains a bit of the promotional material coming out quite recently.
Yeah, so it's they've elevated their game. It seems to be more and more prevalent all over the show. So it's really good.
I was more talking about him with the belt over his shoulder. But anyway, with that, PCW is on Saturday night, but so is Mayhem Pro. And I am keen to get down to Mayhem Pro and pay my respects to the one and only Hitman George Julio, who has trained basically everyone down here in Victoria, and even people at Sydney have come down to train with the Hitman. So I am really keen to get down there, see a few people like Fox, JXT, Erica, stuff like that. So I'm a bit of a conundrum. I need to split myself in two, or get one of those home cloning kits that you see on the internet, one of those CRISPR ready things, so I can metamorphosis into two and go down that way.
Both shows and report back.
Yeah, report back and go see some of the better Melbourne wrestling out there, besides the mainstays like MCW, OPW, and maybe not so much OPW anymore, but
I was about to say,
World Series Wrestling.
World Series,
World Series Wrestling. The main shows that we go to. I'd like to try and get along.
Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me.
So Don, during the week I caught the Melbourne Wrestling Show on Channel 31, and I noticed there was only a few feds highlighted it through the 6 seasons. It was mostly Adrenaline Pro Wrestling, Alpha Pro Wrestling, and Pro Wrestling South Australia.
So you got Pro Wrestling South Australia?
Yeah, PWSA, which is the long-standing company in Pro Wrestling South, which is on the Melbourne Wrestling Show now.
Okay, that because you got further than me. You sent me a link.
Yeah,
I watched the first few minutes, and I was not impressed at all.
If you're putting this on TV,
the production values of what I saw were we're a YouTube podcast. We're simulcast. We're recording from 2 different parts of the country, so it's not as easy to, and we're doing it, weekly. Where it's not as easy to on the cheap. It's not easy to have a full setup. As far as I understand, these guys are in a professional studio with a couple of figurines to one side and what looks like a fold-up table in front. I see it's great that people are trying to produce something to help promote wrestling, but just it reeks of a lack of effort.
Well, I did reach out to Mean Mike on socials, and I had to ask him why other shows weren't highlighted on the Melbourne Wrestling Show. Shows like Melbourne City Wrestling, Renegades, and PCW, why aren't they featured? And Mike was kind enough to get back to me and say, look, we've reached out to everyone. They have, all they need to do is reach out to us and give us permissions to play their shows on Channel 31. So, being the part-time journo I am, I reached out to a few promoters and said, hey guys, have you ever been invited on the Channel 31 show? None of them have heard about it. None of them have heard about this invitation. None of them have heard about the invitation.
Okay.
None of them were under the impression that they could just send in their stuff. And I will say a couple of them said they probably wouldn't get involved even if they were invited, just because of the low production values and stuff like that. Now, I've got to ask you, if people are flicking over and they report that they get a lot of views, like about 24,000, 240,000, which is about 24% of what Channel 31 claims to get yearly. So they're kind of claiming they have 24% of the Channel 31 market. If you're flicking over, I think that's driving people away from going to see other shows in the area.
The premise of it, like the idea of it, is to like, because if you've got a television station like a Channel 31, unluckily in WA we don't have that.
We used to,
but we don't have it anymore. And there is an opportunity to put wrestling in front of new fans. I feel like you always want to put your best foot forward, and whether you're doing it on Channel 31 or you're putting it on YouTube, at all times you want to put your best foot forward. So if someone does catch it, they have a positive thought and they think, "Oh, I'd love to go there and see that live.
I'd love to be a part of that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if they're getting a huge amount of, like I say, whatever they were saying, the huge amount of viewership, and then they're making money somehow, like with advertising. I hope that does trickle down to the guys who are actually putting their bodies on the line to create this show.
Well, Don, I have done some facts and figures because, as you know, I tried to get a show into Channel 31 earlier in my life. One fall, yeah, great. Didn't go so well, but I did try, and that's how I know a lot of the people from the Melbourne community. I kind of Tony Khan'd it a bit and kind of like was just friends with everyone, and everyone come in. And of course, it didn't go so well, but Channel 31 was super interested in me doing a wrestling show for them. And this is where I think then BCW stepped in and put a few shows on Channel 31. And now out of that,
they were OCW for a bit. Outback
Championship Wrestling was on, and then the Melbourne City show, Melbourne Wrestling Show is now on Channel 31. But this is what stopped me. It was the hours of work, the unpaid hours of work that I would have had to do to make the wrestling show I wanted. And what I'm seeing on the Channel 31 is nowhere close to what the wrestling show I would have been doing. And even if it was inviting other feds, it wouldn't look like that.
Of course,
sorry to say, but it's costly. It's costly to run a show down there, and it's unpaid. You're getting nothing for it except exposure. And really, what sort of exposure are you getting on Channel 31? It's like when you first go out for your jobs as a photographer and people give you exposure and stuff like that. What are you getting out of it? And what stopped me was the $72 an hour, 45 for the hire of the things with a minimum of 4-hour hires, $35 for the technician with a minimum of 4 hours, of course. So that equals up to about just under $500 an episode at $499. So with 6 seasons of the Melbourne Wrestling Show, you're looking at about $28,497 that this has costed. And I can't see a huge return on it from what's been promoted on it. Like, they haven't, over the 6 seasons, you haven't seen it grow. You've almost seen it stagnate. And now they're offering, Alpha Pro Wrestling, which is the main one on the show, is now trying to offer promotional packages for $1,200 for platinum, $900 for gold, $600 for silver, and $300 for bronze. Now, what are you really getting for that? What are you really getting for your money for the 4 weeks? You're getting a couple of 15 to 30 second spots on Channel 31 that's already claimed it might only reach 200,000 people in the local area. I don't even think it reaches that. I think they're a bit. I think a lot of the other shows are doing a lot of the heavy lifting for that number. So, you know, for your $1,200, $900, $600, $300, what are you really getting except a spot on Channel 31, which, let's be honest, not many people watch terrestrial TV anymore.
It's not a big deal like it once was.
It's not a big deal. And, you know, you can have their banner up in the Alpha Pro shed. Maybe you might be lucky and even get it up in the Pro Wrestling South Australia shed. But again, as I said, I reached out to a lot of promoters and they were like, we've never been invited. They've never reached out to us. And if they did, I'm not sure I would. So, the Melbourne Wrestling Show, yay or nay? Is it harming or hurting the wrestling scene in Melbourne?
Would love to hear from people.
We would love to hear from people in the comments, people who have been on it. Even people who love it and tell us we're completely wrong. But we think they should be highlighting other feds if it is a Melbourne wrestling show, and the goal of it is to heighten the awareness of the Melbourne wrestling scene, because let's face it, it's probably born out of a lot of inter-promoter bickering. Inter-promoter booking. No, inter-promoter bickering that's gone down not so well.
My problem with it is they've got a platform of Channel 31 and they're paying for studio time, they're paying for
they've paid $28,500 over the last 6 seasons.
When for what I've seen that they've produced is essentially a clip show. They can produce that without going to a studio and put that on YouTube and probably get a better reach. If you were to do something like this and you want to jump on Channel 31, I'm not 100% sure what their actual viewership is. If you're running off of the numbers that they're producing, that they're telling people that their viewing numbers are, then I just feel like a bit more effort, especially if you're going into a studio, is necessary. And if there is that much viewership, is that translating into people buying tickets? Where does that come back and help the actual company that's running it? Does it promote the Melbourne Wrestling Show promoting Pro Wrestling South Australia? That's not really going to put no one can see it in South Australia. So why is it the Melbourne Wrestling Show with South Australian Wrestling? And then these other shows that are putting their content onto there, is it their top level content? Are they showing people that this is a good fun time, a good place to go? A few questions. I haven't seen a lot of it, but what I have seen, I feel like there's a lot more effort can be put in.
Yeah, a lot more effort, and it does take a lot of effort to produce a show like this. But it actually doesn't take a lot of effort to edit together a show like this when you're getting delivered the matches and you've just got like one camera, a guy straight to camera, yelling directly down camera at you like this, waving his finger at you. I mean, I probably wouldn't have used myself as the host. I would have never used myself as the host on Channel 31. Like on One Fall, I sought out Andrew Coyne, who was the voice of MCW at the moment. And, we've had our differences, but I specifically remember asking him to be a part of it because I thought, he would lend some legitimacy at the time. And then a few other people came on, like Mark Williams and stuff like that. And
we need someone who's a presenter.
You need someone who's a presenter. You need someone who's comfortable in the crowd. And cutting a promo doesn't always equate to presenting.
No.
Cutting a promo during the matches, cutting a promo after each match and sort of like watch this and stuff like that. It just can be done a lot better. And if it is the Melbourne Wrestling Show, maybe we should be showing a few other feds, and maybe me and Mike wants to put that invitation out again through an email to all the wrestling companies in Australia, and maybe we can cut down on a few of those 65 promoters that are getting around the country at the moment if we all work together a little bit more. But I understand there's a lot of history in the Melbourne wrestling scene. A lot of people have bad blood, you know, and stuff like that. So that could get in the way. But I also understand that if you sign away rights for a match, you're basically signing your match over to the Melbourne Wrestling Show, and other companies I know don't feel comfortable about that, handing it over because of the way it is presented.
Yep.
And they would like to, they can easily present themselves 100 times better on YouTube and other platforms, Fight TV and stuff like that. So, you know, let us know in the comments if you think the Melbourne Wrestling Show is yay or nay, good or bad, doing more harm than good, or doing more better. You know, it's great
more good than harm.
More good than harm. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, it's great to sit there with your mum and dad on the couch and say, I'm on TV.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these kids will be just happy, like, look, I can turn on TV and it's there. I'm the kind of guy who doesn't watch a lot of stuff on my phone or watch any stuff on a laptop or a computer. I like to sit in front of a TV and I can hit YouTube. YouTube's right there and I can bang, there it is. I don't think I can get Channel 31 on my television.
Well, luckily for you, you can get the Melbourne Wrestling Show on YouTube. But yeah, you know.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our little ticket on Melbourne Wrestling Show. Hopefully,
yeah, that's our little deep dive on
the... They up the game or tell us that we got no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, and tell us to get fucked, and fair enough, you know, like, you know, when you're spending $28,500, you can do whatever the hell you like.
That's it.
You can be a mini Tony Khan if you like, hey.
But yeah, so now that wraps up, we've got normally we go into wrap around the country, what's on the weekend, and it is usually powered by the Australian wrestling community. However, just haven't been able to get that happening this week. It is not powered by anything, so we're just going to do a couple of, you know, images of what's going on.
Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me.
Well done. That was well done. That was the wrap around the weekend. I don't know if I'm going to go to PCW or Mayhem. Will you be selling your kidney and getting a sports package, or will you be just selling some sperm and getting a normal ticket?
That is to be determined. We haven't made the full decision yet, but I will be somehow, some way attending the massive WWE weekend coming up. If anyone else has got tickets, or by the time this drops, tickets have actually been released, regular ass tickets, let us know what you got, where you're sitting. I'll be there in some fashion, so hopefully we'll catch you there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please, if you're in an area where there is some wrestling, get around, put some money down, show your support and your love for pro wrestling. And if you want to support a specific wrestler, make sure you go to the merch table and buy some merch, because that goes directly into their pockets and helps them on their wrestling journey. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.